Hi there, everybody. My name is Kate, and welcome to my channel, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. So let's talk about a metaphor that might help us find a way to deal with some of the things that we'd really like to dump out of our lives. We are carrying around sometimes baggage, and we think, God, I just don't want to be burdened with this, or we don't even really realize that that's what we're doing. Imagine this, though, if we're stuck somewhere and we're still having a lot of grief or pain or resentment or anything that just doesn't feel good about someone, some situation, some period of time in our lives, anything that we're harboring any ill feelings about, regardless of what they are or how intense they are. Let's see if we can reframe this and look at this from a different perspective. So, imagine that you get through kindergarten and you get your certificate, right? And every single primer, every single writing exercise you did, every single piece of paper back in the day, whenever we used paper and pen and pencil and stuff like that, assuming that there is a whole lot of textbook involved, actual books and stuff. Imagine all of those papers from kindergarten. You graduate and you stuff that into your backpack and you go, cool, I'm ready for school again. And then you go through all the rest of elementary school and you graduate from that experience and you stuff all the materials, everything, every leftover crayon that was broken, but we're going to scoop up everything associated with all of that because it was part of us graduating, man. So we put that in our backpack, and we may find that, oh, we've got to get a bigger backpack by the time we get to middle school. And we do the same thing through middle school. Excuse me. And remembering, we stick all the bullies in there. We stick all the times in gym when we, accidentally passed gas and everybody made fun of us, or, when we had a booger in our nose or we had something in our teeth and we were giving a presentation in speech class or something weird like that. We put all that in our backpack too. But we graduate out of middle school, we graduate out of high school, and oh God, that prom that was horrible. Let's stick that in there too, because it was all part of the experience. Well, we graduate with our high school diploma, or we graduate from our experience, and we've got it all in our backpack. And while we're going to go to college now, and get a bachelor's of life, let's get a new backpack, and even bigger one, because we got to have all the textbook, all the reference, everything that we ever had back there. We couldn't have possibly made it through kindergarten without all those resources, or middle school or elementary school or high school. We couldn't have made it without all of that. So that's what created all of this for me to get this handy certificate right here. And so obviously with my bachelor's degree, I'm going to need all of that with me, right? So I go into the bachelor's of me and I start accumulating all the textbook, all the snotty professors, the dorm, the terrible food, the weird, awkward relations we have when we're in college with people and we don't really know how to do that, and all the study time that we really resented and hated. Stick all that in the backpack too. And then we go on to our master's of me. Let's go on and see what else we can find out in the School of Life. Let's get a master's of me. We've graduated with our bachelor's. Oh, stick that in there too. Thank you for the paper, because it gives me all the reasons why I'm carrying this giant ass load, is because I have a bachelor's degree in life. I've got all that. I've got a proof of all my qualifications for why and how I have my degree here. Look at my backpack. Do you see? And so we widen up our backpack, get another one that's even bigger, and maybe we get a little harder and sturdier, and we get, really good at carrying and jumping and humping this thing around. But we're going to go into our master's now. And so we have all of our, oh my God, do I have to really do quadratic equations? We have all of that. We stick that in our backpack too. And then guess what? We're going to go into the doctorate program, the doctoral. Let's go into that, and we're learning from the School of Life how to have a PhD in me. And in order to get that diploma, well, we have to stick all that other stuff back there. And we've got our diploma that's why that's there. When we get our doctorate, one day after we've had, 1,200 different doctorates, maybe we look at it and we go, I wonder, bro, if I still need the slide rule from third grade, or if I still need the eraser that I threw at some kid in seventh grade that I didn't like, or, the piece of hair that I cut off the girl's ponytail in front of me. I wonder if I need all of that with me. I wonder if I might be able to dump that out and just take the graduation diploma that I received and know that I have all of the experience from that. I learned all that, but I don't need to keep all the reference material for that. If I get to upper level class again, or I need to remember remember something from a class that I took, how about I just go and visit that reference material in my mind, file back and say, where is that in the library of me? Oh, there it is. I see. And then we get what we need to out of that doctorate of life. And then we come back into, and we're not carrying around some big giant ass backpack full of everything, every textbook, every heavy, everything, that terrible lab partner that we never want to see again, every one of those experiences where we thought we were going to lose our minds, and every single heavy thing that we were going through and that we were referencing and that we were learning in that degree of life. And every single one of us, we're seeking and obtaining degrees of life all the time. We just don't really know that's what we're doing, because sometimes we're passing those classes and sometimes we're not. And the first part of graduating for me to understand the PhD of me was to realize that, oh yeah, I don't need to bring all of the textbooks of how I learned all that nonsense or what I learned. I just need to bring the knowledge with me without all the stories about how awful it was, without all the, feelings of what I was going through when I was in the college of life, or the college of me. It isn't necessary to bring all of that with me as I'm carrying around this giant old backpack that is actually slowing me down and making me angry and making me sad and making me remember that I'm just really dragged down here, and I'm not really, I've got all these advanced degrees and stuff, and yet, why can't I really feel like I'm soaring? Why can't I feel free? Why can't I feel like I'm really me, that I'm carrying around all of the reference material for whatever happened in order for me to get those advanced degrees? Even my, kindergarten diploma, I might be carrying it way back there too, that I'm bringing all of that stuff forward of everything that I materially was using to learn those lessons. And the more important thing to know is that we really can just learn the lesson and then let go of all those heavy textbooks and terrible lab partners and, situations where that was unpleasant. However, I got my degree, see, because I'm not wearing that big old giant backpack on me. I got the advanced, super duper advanced, X-Men advanced degree of me by saying, yeah, I can just carry the certificate of achievement within me as me and know that I have all that knowledge. And if I ever need to reference any part of that degree, that degree, that degree, that degree, that degree, I can go back into the files of me without having to pick up any of those textbooks. That's a virtual experience that I can go visit that and go, yeah, there it is. I remember that. Thank you. I learned that already. And we don't have to repeat in remedial education stuff that we really don't need to, if we know how to reference the learning from it. If we actually graduate from the class and we learn, there's no reason why we need to carry around all the heavy learning that we already lifted. If we already got through something, we did learn something from it. It's a matter of how much did we learn, and did we learn enough to let go of it? And so it's not necessarily easy. I'm not suggesting to you that some fun little metaphor about it will instantly drop that for you. However, it made sense to me whenever it was channeled to me and given to me recently that, yeah, let go of that, Kate, because that's part of the story of how I got my degree. Does that really matter, or do you just want to use the knowledge of your degree? Do you just want to use your degree and what you learned there? Or do you need to talk about, well, I had to do this during that time, and oh, it was just horrible, blah, blah, blah. Occasionally we can fall into the story of that was a difficult program for me, because it's helpful in hearing other people's stories sometimes. However, if that's my baseline, that I'm going into life looking for a job and saying, yeah, I was just terrible. I got my advanced degree of me, man. It was horrible, blah, blah, blah. How many employers in life are going to want to hire us because we're a drag, Like, did you learn what you needed to? Why don't you go figure it out in another remedial class? That's what I needed to do, was really, be looking at how are you approaching this, and what is it that you're bringing with you from those learnings? Are you bringing all the hurt? Are you bringing all the pain? Are you bringing all of the embarrassment and the shame? Or have you learned from that? And that was, that was like a summer school experience of, yeah, I'm gonna have to sit down and, yeah, really think about this and do my own remedial education with my own special tutors inside of me that can help me really get a hold of that. However, it becomes easier for me to look at things in a way such as that it's not necessary to bring the story, because it's too easy for the ego to get involved with how injurious life has been and how awful it's been. It means that my degree is being held off with, do you know how to have the degree of, we, or are you still stuck back there and how horrible it was to attain that shit? Because if you aren't living it, then you're still kind of doing remedial education back there with it. Damn. Oh, that was a hard day whenever I got that download. Like, yeah, I guess I do. Yeah, okay. However, the beauty of that is that when we're getting inside with our own little tutors, if we're listening to tutors that are within us, that are shaming us, blaming us, gaming us, or doing something weird with us, that's not a true tutor. That's not a true educator of divinity and of our higher mind. That's some little mind programming or some little mind virus or some little ugly malware thing that, yeah, that's not real. No, I need to get to my real team here, my real tutors and my real scholars and my real ancestral knowledge, whoever it is that we subscribe to that's within us that knows more than we do as our 3D human being, because we need help. We need educators and we need ancestors. We need, tutors. We not need guides, to get through this game of life sometimes. I mean, I don't know anybody that can just walk on the planet and feel completely fine 100% of the time, 1044, and not need to consult their guide of some kind, their tutor, their teacher, their elder brother, their whatever they subscribe to. And so part of that is saying, if I'm always knowing that I have you, spirit or guide or tutor, teacher, if I know I've always got you that I can call you bro, right? I always have you, then that's my reference guide for where was I with this before. I'm going to dump all this out of the way and I'm going to let go of the story and learn a new way. Then I always have you to help me get through this, right? That I'm not stuck out here in my dark night whenever it shows up, that I already went through this kind of experience once. I went through some heartbreak. I already went through some tragedy. I already went through this, blah, 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 blah. Then I already have some experience with this and I really don't need to be dragging around all the reference materials with me. I can just call my virtual teach right quick and say, can you help me? And the more that we really rely on our inner teacher to guide us, 1144, it really becomes easier to use metaphors in such a way that we can find it kind of amusing. I did eventually laugh at myself that, yeah, I have been kind of dragging around, a whole backpack's worth of just stuff that it's unnecessary. Learn what you need to learn and be happy you have the degree of me, be glad that you got that degree. And, why would you need to be worried about how you achieved that? And I'll leave it with that my actual bachelor's degree is in music and vocal performance. And it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. My voice teacher was a beast and she just had these ridiculous expectations and really was trying to push me to go into a certain type of a classification of music that's just not me. That's not the kind of soprano that I am. I know you want me to be that. It's not me. And so we locked horns and battled constantly. And at the time, I had no backbone whatsoever to say, yeah, I got to leave this studio and this whole school because no, this is awful. It was horrible. But it was a very, very ugly, nasty experience. And so I rarely, though, I mean, not ever do I ever say to anybody, if they say, oh, what's your degree in? And I say it's in music, I have a music degree in vocal performance. I don't follow on with, and it was just terrible. It was the most horrible experience ever. I don't ever find myself, when someone asks me about a degree, I don't ever find myself saying, and yeah, that was just horrible for me, 1313. However, very, very frequently I would hear myself, and still do sometimes, that, I'm talking about my degrees in life and all my certifications and trade schools that I've been to, and just ask me, I got a whole list of them, then I'll be happy to tell you that was just a terrible experience. That's me carrying around the textbook and referencing that shit way too often, people probably really don't want to know is the truth, is we really don't want to hear about anybody else's tragedy because we're dealing with our own. And truthfully, it keeps me from knowing about the most advanced degree of me is the one that doesn't need to reference a whole lot of material from back there, because if we learned it, we were learning progressively and stair-stepping our way to right here. And the now is really where it's at. So I hope that that's been helpful to you in some way. And I hope you enjoy your day no matter what part of the day you're in. And remember, get within your skin because you're divine. It is so, so fine. And it is so absolutely able to guide you and be your best tutor every single time. It's a matter of opening up the phone line, and letting go of all the things that used to be, dragging us down and making us slow. And that's a very tedious process sometimes. However, if it takes 5 years to get through a 3 year, 4 year degree, if it takes 5 years, or it takes 2 years, or it takes 10 years, it takes however long it takes. However, once you get that booger, or while you're going through it, be happy. Hey, I just finished that class. Check. I already did that. Thank you. It's just a matter of reframing our mind. And that tutor inside, that tutor inside can really bring it right there to us to make sure that we understand very clearly what the demands are to be able to get there with it. So, as I said, you're divine, absolutely fine. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again next time. Mwah.